welcome to tonight's episode of the Group Therapy Podcast. We are back after technical issues, camera screwing up again, and we were just away for. And the worst part about it is that when we were away, I had filmed the entire episode, and started letting it upload while we were leaving. It never uploaded. Then when it did upload, it had no sound. So
I didn't realize it'd been that long since you were able to.
I had to go back and completely redo that episode and re-edit it because there was no audio.
Oh wow!
So that was real fun. I'm like, and I don't know what it is because I just did it the exact same way and re-uploaded it. And it happened to me about a month or so ago. It had to be over a month ago. About 2 months ago, it did it to me then.
The internet gods were mad at you.
Yeah, that and it doesn't help. Our internet's been garbage here lately.
Yeah, well, that's everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's across the board.
Well, what's funny is when the shop internet, because we're all on Spectrum, the shop internet will be great. Internet here will be garbage.
We're also sharing it between 3 stories of a house, too.
Yeah.
I mean...
And everybody's using it all at once.
So...
Except for, that doesn't work all the time. Because when I'm uploading, realistically, there might be Brandon or Joe. Because it's usually just Joe. So when I'm uploading in the middle of the night, I'm the only one awake, except for maybe Joe. Because Brandon's usually asleep by then. And so...
I don't know, he's been staying up on the computer, though, too.
Yeah, so. but there's episodes, he's like, I'm going to bed. And he goes upstairs and goes to bed. And I edit or whatever, and I upload it. And literally, the only person who's awake is usually me or Joe, so it's not tying up the internet, but it'll still run like crap. I've had it upload like that, and I've had it take 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah, and usually the audio one's usually really quick, but for some reason, the last time we did it, with the bad audio, it uploaded relatively quickly. I was like, okay, well, we had no problem. But when I re-upload it, it took a while for that to get uploaded.
Wow.
Don't know. Is what it is. If anybody out there who does a podcast or whatever, and you have a better way of doing this where it doesn't have issues and you're still using Spectrum Internet, let me know. I'll listen. So, all right. As always, tonight's episode is brought to you by Dove. Dove the bars. No, just
the soap or the chocolate.
You know what? Their soap tastes like shit. Their chocolate bars are delicious. Although I can't say that. I can't tell you last time I ate a Dove bar. I bet you it's been a decade.
Probably.
So, but as always, tonight's episode is brought to you by RU Game, the best comic book, video game, magic, toy store, DVD store.
It's a hobby shop.
We sell pretty much every damn thing.
It's a hobby shop. That's what I tell people when they ask me.
All of Pickle, Ohio, located at North Sunset Drive, 124 North Sunset.
I think you can say like in all of Miami County at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And because I realistically don't think there's anybody in Miami County that does what I do.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. There are other stores that sell comics. There are other stores that sell comics and magic and other stuff, but no one sells everything like I do.
Yeah.
So, and we recently started carrying Pokemon too. And if you're lucky, we'll have it in, but chances are no. So, I've got this much Pokemon in, which is surprising because we usually sell out within like a few minutes of getting it in. But, and again, located 124 North Sunset Drive, Pickle, Ohio, 45356. You can find us on Facebook at RU Game. And you can see all the cool stuff we post. Whenever I get stuff in, I usually post it up there. And you can let me know if you want anything. And we ship all over the United States. I don't ship outside the United States because that's a huge hassle. So, but we are back. Like I said, we've had some issues, but we are going to be That was funny. I just seen you post something. Go.
That's one of your friends.
Oh, that's scary. So, but that's bad. Tonight's episode. We've done it once. We'll do it again. Just because we like it doesn't mean it doesn't mean it's any good. Part 2.
Or just because you like it doesn't mean it's any good.
Yeah. Part 2. Electric Boogaloo. The Return of Tina. The Tina edition. Because last time it was me and Brandon. This time it's me and Tina. So, see, there we go. Here's one thing right there. Most people don't like me. I'm sure Tina does. She married me.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. I'm tolerated sometimes. I'm liked very little. But she loves me all the time.
Very true.
Yes. Yeah. Just because you love me doesn't mean you have to like me all the time. What was the one that said, just because I love them doesn't mean I like them. All right. But there's lots of things out there. And it's funny because I was having a discussion over at the shop this weekend with some customers. And we were talking movies and stuff like that. And they're just staring blankly at me like, what the fuck are you talking about? Or comic books that people have never heard of. Or, you know. And I'm pretty good at that. I make sure that when I post at the end of the show, I talk about the books I think are hot, the books I think are going to be good. And a lot of those are not your typical, because it's not Marvel, it's not DC, it's not Image. Well, some of them are Image, and some of them are Marvel, some of them are DC. But I like a lot of like the independent stuff. And yeah, a lot of stuff now is published by Image, which makes it one of the big comic book companies, but I still count, because they're smaller companies that produce... bigger companies that produce smaller books. Does that make sense?
I guess so.
Yeah. But, yeah, we're sitting there talking about movies and whatnot this weekend, and they're talking about movies like, oh, I love this movie. I'm like, you couldn't pay me to watch that movie. I'm sorry. You know, or even music, stuff like that. They're like, oh, man, have you listened? No. I'm not going to listen to that. or I do, and I go over and I YouTube it, and I'm like...
You're just old.
I am old.
You're old and set in your ways.
I am old
and
set
you
in
don't
my
like
ways.
change.
No, I don't like change. I'm a grumpy ass old man who doesn't like things.
Here in a few years, you're gonna be the get off my lawn guy.
Yeah, I don't like people in my yard, period. So, I just... No, I don't know if I'll be that guy.
I don't know.
I don't get out of my yard, kids. No, because that would imply that I have to be outside to be able to view people coming in.
You just stand in the door being all leering and weird and
I don't
wait
go
for somebody
upstairs.
to...
I hang out down here.
I'm upstairs sometimes. Be up there long enough to tell them to get off your lawn.
Mowing the yard. Get out of my yard, kid. I'm just like, get the fuck away from my car. Get away from my car. Those who don't know me... I just got a car I've been wanting for a while now. Yeah, and here we go again. It's things that I might like that everybody thinks is dumb. I bought myself a 2007 Dodge Magnum. I got essentially a Charger station wagon because I like it and I think it looks cool.
It's a nice car.
And there we go. I'm not a fan of newer cars. And the newer cars I do like are not practical for what I need. You know, I move stuff, I do comic book shows, whatnot, is what it is. I can't go buy a Camaro or a Challenger. I could buy one if I wanted to. I just, you know, how am I going to haul, you know, Brandon, Joe, Vince, and you in a car? I mean, we can take your car.
We usually take my car.
Yeah, but even that's small. But now if I want to do a comic book show, you get that little trunk space. I'm going to fit, you know, maybe 3 short boxes in it. So
I've seen you fit things in my car that I'm like...
I fit 9 boxes in your car before.
I know. It's ridiculous. And a kid.
Yeah.
Poor kid had things like falling on his head.
Well, here's the thing. If you've ever worked at a comic book store and never did a comic book show or bought stuff, you will learn to use every square inch of space in a vehicle to be able to get stuff to the show. Same way with table
And
space.
then you have your 10-year-old all hunched over in the back seat of the car with this much room
He was fine.
and stuff all around him, holding up the box.
That one was I wasn't aware of how much shit I was getting that time.
Yeah.
But when I go buy stuff at Jesse before, we got 9 boxes in my car, and Vince was setting just fine.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
Yeah.
But no,
So.
that one time you went.
Although I'm not gonna lie, I know people who can fit like 20 boxes in a car your size, and I'm like, wow, was that car ride like an inch off the ground? So, but yet again, we go on a little bit of a tirade.
Mm-hmm.
No, but we're gonna get back to this. I have been on a huge I finally broke down, for those who've been listening, I broke down recently and bought a region-free Blu-ray player.
Welcome.
Yeah, Tina told me to go ahead and buy one, and I was like, all right, sweet. So we ordered one, and I got one.
Really, it was so I could get a movie that I wanted to, but, you know.
It's on its way.
I know.
It's on its way. I got tired of paying stupid money for DVD or Blu-rays.
Yeah, but you were putting it off. You were like, oh, I'm not going to buy it yet, or I'm going to wait until this or that. And I'm like, just buy it now. It ain't going to make no difference.
Yeah. And see, that's what's funny is I'm a fan of the movie. Here we go. Extra. It is, I call it the anti-ET movie. I grew up watching this. It's an alien takes over a guy's body. He gives birth to himself. It's weird. It's really weird.
I've never seen it.
You've probably seen it when you were a kid. Matter of fact, there's the pictures going around of the rake. That's like, oh, somebody caught footage of a rake. It's literally a scene of the alien from this movie.
Really?
Yeah. So
wow.
The weird one where it's like looks like it's like crawling like this with the head. Yeah, that is the alien from Extra.
Really?
Yeah, people are trying to pass it off like they actually got footage of an alien, a monster.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's because this is such an obscure movie, even though I don't think it's obscure.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so here we go, people. I finally broke down because this movie was stupid expensive here in America, and I found it imported for like a tenth of the price, maybe. Or 20%. But with that, I've been able to get movies that people just didn't get. People didn't like. There you go, Extra. Stuff that's not available in the United States, or stuff people just like got low print runs in the United States, but over in Europe it had a massive print run, which I don't get. But I don't get the hate for American Blu-ray players. I get people, I guess. But you know, there's a lot of people out there who, you know, love movies like me, and then you get the ones who like what they think is the cool movie at the time. My whole thing is I have an undying hatred. And I went back and tried to rewatch it. I did. Because you and I watched Hereditary. A lot of people love Hereditary. And I'm not saying
terrible.
We're not saying you're wrong. You enjoyed it. It's personal opinion. We both thought it was horrible.
Yeah.
Thought it was terrible. It's got one shock moment. It's a like I say, it's an intense family drama with one shock moment that they decided that last minute.
It's an intense movie. It doesn't feel like a horror movie. It doesn't flow well. It doesn't make sense when everything is all said and done. You're just kind of sitting there like, what did I just watch?
Mm-hmm.
At least I was. And I mean, maybe other people take something away from it different when they watch it. But, you know, it was trying to be a supernatural movie without being a supernatural movie. I don't know. Like, I don't know what the intention was, to be honest.
Yeah, literally, everybody keeps telling me I need to watch Midsommar. because that's the guy's next movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
I hear the same thing. Like, it's a great movie.
I hear it's a great movie, but I'm like
afraid to watch it because I haven't liked
but
anything else.
It's the same way with The Witch. You dislike The Witch.
I thought it was boring.
I went back, I watched it the first time, and I was like, it was boring. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
But then I went back and rewatched it again recently, and I watched for the little shit.
Mm-hmm.
And when you figure out that it's people losing their shit because they got ergot poisoning,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, oh.
I mean, I guess that's one that I could go back and watch it, but it was so, like, I couldn't get into it. It was so boring to me that I couldn't follow it. Like, I literally could not sit there and watch it. I kept getting up and walking away and doing other things because it did not capture my attention.
That's what I had to do. I had to rewatch it and, like, rewatch it.
But you know me with movies, if it don't
if you
capture my attention,
you're gone.
Like, ADD and it.
Yeah, and literally, though, it's got one of my favorite moments in a horror movie that's happened in a while. And that's where, because I like Taylor Joy, I can't remember her name off the top of my head. The girl from Queen's Gambit, who was the girl who was Magic in New Mutants, which, yet again, people hated. I enjoyed New Mutants.
Mm-hmm.
But is it an X-Men movie? No. Is it a horror movie that exists within the X-Men universe? Yes.
I liked it. I thought it was good. But I'm not a fangirl, so.
Yeah, but no, I'm sitting there watching that, and when she's sitting there and she's got her back turned, and the devil's behind her, and I'm like, he goes, how would you like to live deliciously? And I'm like, I like that. That's, you never see the devil. He's just a guy in a nice suit walking behind a young girl and, like, tempting her, you know? And I'm like, okay, I guess I like that, you know. And then at the end, she goes off to be with the witches in the woods and whatnot. I'm sorry if I gave it away. Spoiler alert on a how old is that movie now? Like 6 years old. And it's
you can't
like,
say spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. If you watch this show, spoiler alert, or anything older than like 5 years,
yeah,
it's you shouldn't be a spoiler alert.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact is, it took me twice to get through that movie. I haven't sat down and watched The Lighthouse yet. And that's the second movie. That's the movie he did after Witch, and that's the one with Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe, where they're they're the lighthouse keepers. It's black and white. It's literally like on every streaming channel right now.
Oh, I have no idea.
But same with Midsommar. But it's one of the ones where it was so slow that I did end up enjoying parts of it, but I enjoyed it far more than I did the first time I watched it. But I'm like, man, if it's as slow as that is again, I have to have a lot going on, and if I watch a slow movie...
I thought Hereditary was like almost painfully slow.
Oh, yeah.
It was slow, but it had an intensity that kept me wanting to watch it. Like, because there was that intensity, but I was waiting for something to change. I was waiting for that movie to change. That's probably the only positive thing I can say about it. It did draw me in that aspect.
Yeah, it kept you like going...
Yeah,
okay,
but
okay.
I was really disappointed at the end. Like, really disappointed.
When we were sitting in the theater, and no lie, what was there? 30 people in the theater when we went and seen it? Everybody busted out laughing at the big, suspenseful, scary moment that happened at the end. We're just like...
Yeah, it was funny.
But then again, there are movies that I've liked that people have just destroyed.
Well, there are movies that I like that you can't stand, and vice versa.
Yeah, you're the musical. You love musicals.
Mm-hmm.
I like 3.
Mm-hmm. Okay, probably one that me and you disagree on quite a bit is Joker.
Oh,
I liked Joker.
I hated Joker.
You didn't like it.
I was so...
Which is surprising that, you know...
The Joker, to me,
I didn't come at it as it being a Joker movie either.
Like, I went in... That is not a Joker movie.
No.
They just basically... And I joke around as like it's
a different take on it. It's a different it's a different story. It has nothing really much to do with
to me they shoehorned they shoehorned the name the Joker and they shoehorned the Waynes in.
I don't know.
To a movie that
I don't feel like that. You do, but I don't. I think I think it's just a different telling of a story.
But the thing is that's one thing I always liked about the Joker. The Joker has no definitive background.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you humanize the Joker, I think it
Mm-hmm.
ruins him.
I don't.
I think that
I don't, because my take on that movie is you don't know what's real and what's not.
Yeah, but that's even...
And that's what I like about it.
Yeah. But they also make him the hero.
I don't think so.
And they
I don't feel like they make him a hero
either that, or there are people who take that away from the movie. Is that, Joker's the hero of that movie? I'm like,
no, I don't feel that way at all. He's
Joker's
evil.
He's fucking psychopath.
Terrible person.
That was.
And that's what I took away from. There's nothing redeeming about him.
No.
It builds up and makes you think. And this is what I took away from the movie. It builds up and makes you think. You start feeling sorry for him.
Mm-hmm.
You start feeling sorry for him because he's relatable to a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the end of that movie, I didn't feel sorry for him at all.
See,
by the end of that movie, it was like, oh, he's just wrong.
Mm-hmm.
There is something wrong about him.
And there's people
and that's what I liked about it.
I mean, I'm sure somewhere down the line I'll rewatch it because I'm a completist, so I will own it at one point because it is a comic book.
And you'll have to watch it again because you have to. You do that.
Okay.
If you don't like something, you watch it again to see if.
Yeah, to see if I can get past it.
The first impression was wrong.
So far, the first impression is Hereditary is the only impression I've gotten because I've never been able to finish that movie a second time.
Yeah.
That's like I've never been able to rewatch Titanic. That's 3 hours of my life.
See, I think okay, that's another thing that's different. Like I can watch a movie and like that movie and then not watch it again.
No.
Like you will, if you like a movie, you will watch it many times over.
You know how many times literally, I've couldn't count how many times I've watched the Star Wars movies. I couldn't tell you how many times I've watched Tombstone.
But you think it's weird that I listen to songs over and over.
Yeah, but you'll listen to the same song and then, like back in the day, you would rewind it and listen to the same song immediately after. I've only done that, like with movies. I've never watched the movie and then immediately rewatched the movie.
Are you sure?
I probably have, but not like sat down like watching.
Are you sure?
I mean, I think I kind of did when Wonder Woman 1984 came out because Joe and I went to the theater and when I came back, you were still watching it, so I just sat down and kind of rewatched it again. And to be honest, if I do that, it's because I go back and listen to the commentary the second time. So I'm not really watching the movie, I'm listening to the commentary.
I know, but still, you watch things over and over and over again, and you give me crap for doing that with music.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. I legit, I couldn't tell you how many times I've watched certain movies. Suspiria, I guarantee you 100 times. And I'm not, and people are like, oh, that's a lot. No, it's not. I guarantee you I watch Suspiria 20 times a year.
Yeah, probably.
And that's,
You know how many times I've watched Suspiria from beginning to end, all in one sitting?
probably once.
Maybe.
No,
I don't know if I've ever watched it sitting down in one sitting from beginning to end.
Well, the thing is, though, is with the way my brain works, is not the way most people's brains work. I can legit, and the worst part about it is like, okay, when you get to like MASH, I guarantee you I've watched every episode of MASH 30 times.
You've tried to tell me I haven't seen this episode, and I'm like, I've sat here and watched you watch this episode.
Yeah, and
I know you've seen this episode because we've had discussions about this episode. Like, I know they all blend together at a certain point because you've watched them 1,000 times each.
That's one of the problems is that...
When I'm sitting there going, please don't watch MASH anymore. I love the show. But I can't take a break.
My problem is that it's on, and I'll turn it on, like, because I'll look and I'm like, oh, there's nothing else on, so I'll leave it on. And then I'll start watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing that happens with House.
Mm-hmm. If
House is on, I will go, oh, just leave it on for background noise. And then I'm like, and I watch House. I guarantee I've seen every episode of House at least 10 times. And
Yeah, I haven't watched it that much.
no, it's one of the, well, me and Vince used to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Vince loved House.
Oh, I know.
When he was a kid, same with MASH. That was one reason, because he would chill out and he would sit next to the couch and he would chill out and watch TV with me.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of the reasons why I watch stuff like that.
No, it's not.
Well, it's like, okay, you know, okay, I'm gonna go way back. There was a time when you bought VHS tapes.
There was a time when you bought VHS
yeah, I watched
tapes.
bought VHS.
There was a time when I rented VHS tapes and then I took them back to where I got them.
I don't understand. See, my whole problem was because I found out it was cheaper just to buy them because I would never be able to return them on time. So that was when they were like $3.49 a day. So after like 3 days, it was $10, or you could just buy the damn thing for $9.99. So I just found it was cheaper just to buy the damn thing. And the worst part about it is that I remember Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre was a Good Times Video, I think it was. I got a copy of that. And it was when they first made Texas Chainsaw Massacre like accessible to buy. And I think I paid like $20 for it, because I don't know how many times I've watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre up to that point. And then after I got that, I couldn't tell you how many times I watched it on VHS. And then after that, I couldn't tell you how many times on DVD. And now I can't tell you how many times I watched it on Blu-ray. So I've literally, one of my favorite movies is The Keep. I own multiple copies of that on VHS tape because I have wore out VHS tapes. Now I have it on Laserdisc.
Like, I have movies that I watch over again, but it's like once a year is the most.
But see, the thing is I lived out in the country for years. So I had no cable. So,
you know, there are other things to do.
You know where I used to live in the country. There was nothing out there.
Still.
I would sit there but I would do other things. I would watch TV, read, play video games. Back when I could do all that shit at the same time. I could do that until I was in my 30s. Now I can't do it all at once. Now I gotta watch TV and I can read. I can't do video games at the same time now. My brain doesn't take that much in anymore. Get a little bit off topic. But
a little bit.
All right. So we're going to put a break right here. And when we come back, we're actually going to get back on topic. And back on topic as much as we possibly can be on topic.
We never stay on topic.
No. Well, that's like our ride to the toy show on Saturday. We went through like 8 topics on the way there, and they all just flowed right into one another. And I don't know how we got. I don't know how we
started off talking about.
I couldn't tell you, but we went from wrestling to Kenny Omega, to Jim Cornette, to outlaw mud shows, to somehow getting to farming and 4-H.
That's right, 4-H.
And raising animals.
Raising pigs for slaughter.
And then we got to how to do that humanely. And then
KFC and their big...
Oh, yeah, KFC and their giant mutant chickens.
And
so that's why it's called KFC and not Kentucky Fried Chicken, because they're not...
which is a lie. But,
not technically
big industrial farms, and the difference between animals raised on a good farm and a bad farm.
But we have gone, and the worst part about it, there was a beginning that I can't remember before all the wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh, me and my cousin beating the crap out of each other wrestling, and then that's how we got to wrestling.
No, it started off talking about talking to your friends about you.
Talking to my friends about me,
like the stories that you have from like stuff you did, and like being a different person.
Oh yeah, starting off being a completely different person to where I am today, and then how you got to here. How about like when me and Dante would shout out to Dante. Would try putting each other in a figure 4 leg lock and trying to get armbar, and him
and dislocating my shoulder.
Yeah,
and
So
being really mean to me because your friend was really mean to me sometimes.
So we get through all this, and there's more to the end of the story, and there's more at the beginning of the story. But somehow we get, and it flowed. It wasn't like it went like all of a sudden we're like pig farming. This is what we do now. No, somehow we got from wrestling to pig farming.
Well, we drove past something 4-H or something, didn't we?
Yeah, we drove. We drove by 4-H signs, but it was.
But we were already in the conversation.
Yeah.
So then that's how we started talking about like how it would be like to raise the pig, and then the pig would have to go off to slaughter, and how because horses being all like matted.
The horses being all dirty and stuff. Yeah, but okay, we got so far off topic.
We have to be there.
We were going to take a break.
Understand everything that we're talking about.
We need
we
to
can't even take a break.
We need to hook this camera up in the car.
We do.
And we need to record our conversation from point A to point B, which is really crazy if point A is Ohio and point B is New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
Or point A is Piqua and point B is Pittsburgh. There's a lot of conversations that come between point A and point B.
That's very true.
And we'll have to do that because we'll have to get like me, you, and Mark and Bone or somebody to roll in the car with us. So
and then we're weird because we talk to each other.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to take a break and we'll be back in just a few moments. Stay tuned.
Hey kids, is your afternoon kind of boring? Well, let the Funshine Festival put a zing into it. Starting at 2, it's the heroes you can trust, the Super Friends. At 2:30, they're a gang of cosmic cowboys ready for any laser draw. They're the Galaxy Rangers. Then 33's resident Fat Cat hits us for fun and mischief. At 3, it's Heathcliff.
Thanks, guys.
Join the afternoon Funshine because TV 33 loves kids.
He's breaking the line for the G.I. Joe team.
That's right, it's William the Refrigerator Perry.
The bridge is destroying G.I. Joe.
And you can get a free fridge. Here's how.
Collect 5 fridge certificates or call the number on the certificate and the fridge will tell you how to get in on the action. With only 4 certificates, there's a $1 handling charge. See details on specially marked G.I. Joe packages.
Watch out, Cobra. Fridge is coming through.
Go, Joe!
And we are back. And we're trying to stay back on topic. All right. So we got the movies we don't like. Freaking the Joker. I don't like
the Joker.
I don't like the Joker. I don't like Hereditary.
I'm going to write down on my notes.
Okay. I got notes.
I like.
And that's the news. And this was it. That was one of my favorite. I'm Dennis Miller, and I am out of here. And then there's the pen at the camera. See, that's what's great is there's so many movies that I love that people just look at me and they have no freaking clue what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah, it happens to me all the time.
Like Extra and Razorback. How? And this is a movie because it's obscure now because it's not been released, I believe, on DVD or Blu-ray in America. This is an import. I have a VHS tape of it. I have no idea why this has not been released. They basically made almost a remake of it recently with Boar. It's a giant Australian killer pig movie directed by Russell McCulley, the guy who brought us Highlander. So it's not like it's some obscure director.
I think I've seen that.
Yeah, it's got Gregory Harrison as the guy who goes in search of his wife. It has. See, the only thing I can think of is it's got the relatively racist versions of Australian hillbillies. But the thing is there's other... We can make fun of American hillbillies, but I don't know if we can make fun of Australian hillbillies. I don't know what the hell you call hillbillies out in the outback. So...
no idea.
And it's great. I mean, it's a giant killer pig movie. And it's fun. Here's the other one, and yes, most people remember this one, and this one's, I just got this, so I haven't even opened it yet. The House movies. Everybody remembers the first 2. Mm-hmm. Nobody remembers there's a third and a fourth.
Really?
Yeah. Well, except for
I've seen them all.
in America, the House 3 was called The Horror Show.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's House 3, The Horror Show.
Mm-hmm.
No one remembered House 4. And it's like, somebody goes, there were more? Like, yeah, there's 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
No, there isn't. I'm like, yeah, here, I got the box set. It's right here. And there's people who just had never heard of, like, I'm like, yeah, it's the Haunted House.
People that have never heard of House, period.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking
And I'm
about?
like, if you've never seen House, I want to say I had watched horror movies before.
Well,
this.
there's a lot of contrast between the first one.
The
and
first
other
one's
ones.
almost a serious
Mhm.
horror movie, and then when it takes that comedy,
Mhm.
and it's funny because that's the original Crystal Skull movie.
Yep.
Yeah, that's far better than any shitty Indiana Jones movie. But literally, I'd watched horror movies before, and I never really it was like, okay, passing. I was more of a sci-fi nut. And fantasy. So I like my Conan movies, my Conan knockoffs, my Star Wars knockoffs, Star Trek, shit like that. The first House movie was the one that got me completely hooked on horror movies.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that was the big one.
Wow.
Yeah. I went back
I don't know. My mom was like a huge horror movie person, and so she would rent every movie at the video store, and then I just watched them all too.
and
Like, lots of inappropriate stuff.
Oh
but,
yeah,
you know.
definitely. Because see, that was the other thing is I watched a lot of exploitation movies,
Mhm.
and literally it was one of the ones where because I was at that age where if it had boobs in it, I wanted to watch it because I was a teenage boy,
Yeah.
or early teen. I think it was that when I really discovered horror movies was like 6th grade, 7th grade. So it was when you're like trying to see whatever you could sneak into, and it's like horror movies are full of boobies. It was like sweet. No,
My parents used to take us to the drive-in because that was the only thing they could really do on the weekends, and they would basically sneak us in because you weren't supposed to take kids to that
yeah, you
R-rated horror movie stuff.
Oh,
And
well,
I'd end up setting up and watching it.
well, I would get up in the middle of the night because my parents had separated when I was like 10. So when I was 11, Mom was at work, so I'd get up and watch.
That's where Charlie learned to pretend to be asleep.
Oh, that's funny.
When we would go to the drive-in as kids, because I could get him to do it. Nobody else could get him to do it.
That's hilarious. But I
Sorry.
I would watch, whatever I could. And being a fan of like Godzilla and King Kong, I started watching late night television. And then all of a sudden, I was like, oh, there's horror movies on there. So I started liking them, and I would watch like your Halloween, your Friday the 13th, stuff like that. And Texas Chainsaw Massacre and stuff like that. And it was like, yeah, it was common stuff. Went to the theater and seen that one. I was like, oh, I really like that one. And then I started like staying up late and watching HBO and Showtime and shit like that. And I was like, oh, what's this movie? Okay, what's this movie? And then it just fucking compounded and destroyed my life from 8th grade on, or 6th grade on.
I mean, you think about that. We were watching this stuff relatively at the same time, but I was 2.5 years younger than you.
Well, that's the other part, man. I was watching a lot of stuff in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was when, like, Cinemax,
Mm-hmm.
it was called Skinemax,
Mm-hmm.
after a certain point, because they would show completely inappropriate shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when your mom's asleep or whenever your buddies are hanging out, when your friends are over and you're up watching TV, you're just like, I'm going to go watch Cinemax, And they put everything on there back in the day, and you're just sitting back there, and I'm like, oh, I should have not have been watching this. I go back and rewatch movies now, and then I look back and go, whoa, that was completely inappropriate for a 12-year-old, or a 13-year-old, or whatever, whatever I was when I watched it. I was like trying to think about, man, I'm trying to remember the other day how old I was when I watched like Cannibal Holocaust or Make 'Em Die Slowly and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, that was wrong for a kid. And see, that shit, I still like it, but it's one of the ones that I watch it and I like it, but I can only watch it every once in a great while. So, and here's one that I forgot people just did not like.
Oh, it's one of the musicals you watch.
But it's one of the musicals that I do like. I love Streets of Fire. And it's because it's great. Because it has Rick Moranis as a sleazy freaking record producer who was...
It's a fun movie.
Oh,
it
it was
a bunch of people in it.
Oh, yeah. It had freaking Diane Lane when she was 18.
Mm-hmm.
And she, by the way, who don't know, she's Ma Kent. Now, I think that's fucked up. Because she's like 8 years older than me. And I'm like, she's playing the old lady. I'm like, she's 55. That's not old. What the hell? Because they put her with Kevin Costner in that movie. Then they put her with Kevin Costner in another movie recently. Yeah, Kevin Costner's in his 60s. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, they're jumping her age up almost 10 years. I'm like, Diane Lane ain't that old. What the hell? Stop making her old. Oh my god, this movie is so much fun because it's just, and it's Walter Hill. It's the guy that brought us The Warriors and Streets of Fire, and the fact that this was supposed to have been.
Is that the one that has the girl that does the voiceovers? And I figured out that
yeah,
it was
it's
Powerpuff Girl.
Yep.
It was Buttercup.
Yep, it's Buttercup's in this movie.
Yeah. That was funny because you can't, when you realize it's like you can't unhear it.
Yeah, it's the cult favorite featuring razor sharp cast and original songs written by Jim Steinman. For those who don't know, was the guy who wrote songs for Meatloaf. Stevie Nicks, Tom Petty, Ry Cooder, and by the Blasters and the Fix. Cult filmmaker Walter Hill, The Warriors, Southern Comfort in 48 Hours. Streets of Fire is a rock and roll shotgun blast to the senses. Was it? It was funny because it was a rock and roll fable or something at the beginning of it. This is great, and it's one of them. Just
it's a fun movie.
It's a fun movie.
It's a little strange.
It's definitely a lot strange. Willem Dafoe walking around in like fucking leather hip waders in that as the Raven. You're just like,
he's so young.
Yeah.
And he's not. And it's weird.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God. It's like, okay. We get on the movie. I grew up, and still this day, people love, like, your Chuck Norris movies. And so I'm going to lie. I like Chuck Norris. I like Van Damme. I like those movies. But, man, if I can sit down and watch, like, Master of the Flying Guillotine, or I watch... Lone Wolf McQuade, I will watch Master of the Flying Guillotine every time.
Okay, TV shows that people are hating on that we liked, Cobra Kai.
See, it's funny because I think people our age loved Cobra Kai. People 30 or younger didn't get the fan service for the show. And
I don't know, I've seen some people that just thought it was stupid that were our age too. And it's like, I thought it was good, but I was a huge, like, I loved the Karate Kid. Loved the Karate Kid movies. They were terrible and ridiculous, but I loved them.
I remember going to the Karate Kid movies as a kid. And those used to be like on a Saturday. They used to re-show the Karate Kid movies like a lot on Saturday afternoons at the Piqua Theater. Because I remember going several times and seeing it in the theater. So this is back before everybody had a VCR. Mm-hmm. Or so you had to wait for the movie to be re-released in the theaters or to show back up in the theaters.
I never went seen a movie.
Yeah, you never saw a movie in the theater till...
I was like... until I could go on my own, until I would drag Wendy to go see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. My poor friend who is like a girly girl, and I'm dragging her to see ridiculous movies. She enjoyed them too, though.
Okay, mine right now is there are people who want to hate on Disney Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And mind you, I don't think that I love Solo and I loved Rogue One. The other ones I'm okay with. They're not what I would want, but I didn't mind them. I didn't hate them. But the TV series, The Mandalorian and the Clone Wars and stuff like that, There are people who, just like, Disney destroyed him. Like, have you watched these shows yet?
Mm-hmm.
And if you have, why are you not liking The Mandalorian? It's great.
I didn't watch The Mandalorian, but every time you guys would be watching it and I happened to be in the room, I would end up getting sucked into the episode. So
well, that's like, okay, the people who hated on WandaVision.
mm-hmm. I don't understand that.
I don't
because
understand
I
hate on
thought that-
WandaVision.
I thought that show was fantastic.
And everybody's like, oh, the first couple episodes were so bad and slow. I'm like,
I don't understand
that
that.
was the point. It was supposed to be like you're figuring shit out. Like, well,
I didn't think they were slow. I thought they were interesting.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I liked them, but other people thought they were slow.
Mm-hmm.
But, oh my god. And, I'm trying to think right now. Yeah, and this is bad. I love dumb show. I watch the shit out of some Ancient Aliens. And Joe, of all people, was like, oh my god, Dad. Seriously? I'm like, yeah, seriously, I'm watching Ancient Aliens.
Wish we could talk about Resident Alien.
Resident Alien, which I think is one of the best shows on television right now.
Because it is fantastic.
But then we got Mark, shout out to Mark, who has horrible taste in things,
Obviously.
who doesn't like it, and he's wrong. So
100%.
yeah,
That was a great show. Everybody
yeah,
should watch
I'm
it and enjoy
waiting
it.
because
But it's Alan Tudyk, and
he does no wrong.
No.
He's one of the people that he will be the best thing about a bad. You can put him in any movie, and he will be the best thing about a bad movie. He's going to be on the list. We're gonna do that list still one of these days. We're working on that one. That's gonna be a whole. That'd probably be like a multi-part episode. the best people in bad movies. And we need to get
For
all
me,
them.
it's Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth.
You put him in anything, and I'll watch it. I don't care.
The funny part about it is that there's nobody like any women in movies that you could put like the hot woman of the moment. Okay, I like Rosario Dawson, and I think she's really. There are movies that Rosario Dawson's in that I will never fucking watch again. Rent.
Hey, Paul, Rosario Dawson is in this movie, and she's a stripper.
Like what now? Sweet. Then I watch it I'm like you.
I love Rent.
Fucking.
I love it.
And see.
I love her in it. I love the movie.
But but yeah, there's movies that she's done a lot of like the direct to DVD movies, and I'm just like, no. Yes. And and it's, to be honest, it's one of the ones where somebody's just showing up for a paycheck. But and it's funny because there's like no. And I think it's funny because I haven't figured any out yet. Except for maybe Helen Mirren, because Helen Mirren is always the best thing about a movie she's in. She's even great in the freaking Fast and the Furious as freaking Jason Statham's mom.
Oh, what's her name from SNL?
Tina Fey?
No. Blonde. She was hilarious.
Amy Poehler?
No.
The blonde. Oh! Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon. I cannot remember her name.
You know what? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because as much as I disliked the Ghostbusters reboot, and
Chris Hemsworth made that movie.
Yes. And the worst part about it is that you're finding out that she got like a lot of her shit cut is depressing. Because Kate McKinnon's funny.
She is.
And the spy who dumped me. I'm not that movie is it's a fun. She's great in it, and she makes me watch it because if I could fast forward just to her parts where she's being fucking Kate McKinnon, I would watch it like that. So okay, we might have to put her in there.
Yeah, see.
So, but she doesn't have a whole big.
Yeah, because she
movie.
hasn't done as much yet.
So I'd have to see more.
But if she continues to be an actress and continues to do what she's
we'll
doing, she's going to be...
Yeah. Because right now, we have Alan Tudyk, we have Ewan McGregor, because like I said, if you want to make it better, you put in Ewan McGregor. So... Idris Elba, Ken Watanabe, and there's actors who I freaking love that are just... that aren't good in some movies. Like I like Keanu Reeves, but there's movies like Chill Factor and some other fucking movies back in the day that are horrible, and he's not good in them. You know, he was just like, all right, whatever. And the Matrix 2 and 3. All right. So, TV shows. There's not a lot right now because pretty much what I'm watching now, outside of the weird shit like Forged in Fire that I love, me and Joe have to make a whole day of that.
Even though we tried to watch the glass blowing one.
Oh my god, just hate the people. I hate watch that show. Except for, I can't say it because the second season, there's nobody I hate.
Yeah, that first season.
The first season had the
one that won is the one.
Oh, I hated her from the first time I saw her to the end of that show. And I'm like, and I tried to watch the second season, and there's nobody I hated, so there was no reason to watch the show.
But you hated watching the first season because every time that person went further, it just made you mad, and then you didn't want to watch the last episode because you were like, they're gonna win. It's just gonna make me mad, and then it did.
And it irritated the shit out of me.
Yeah. Oh, but it was so funny.
We're gonna go back to movies people like and don't like it because this reminded me of it. Okay, because I was having this discussion the other day. I Am Legend. I'm not saying that's a bad movie. Because the thing with that movie is it doesn't get the point of the book. By the way, the book is one of my favorite books of all time. And I love this book. This is literally my copy. That is, there's my, was it Glenn Danzig signed ticket. This is like a 1960s printing, I believe. Oh, no. This is a 1954 printing of that. And I've had this forever. That one I got, but I had an older copy that fell apart, and then I got that one, I don't know, 20 some years ago. But that movie makes me angry. And there are people like, I love that movie. And I'm like, have you read the book? No. And then you go read the book, and then you won't like the movie anymore. And then the worst part about it is it's that and people are like, oh, it's like, I was like, no, I know, I think freaking Will Smith does a decent job in it. I'm not saying that. It's the fact is that you take a movie that's based on a book that the whole, even the title of the movie is I Am Legend. And they don't do nothing with that. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's the whole point. Yeah, they missed the mark on that. And I love telling people that. I was like, that's literally the one time where you had to go, sit down, just wait till everybody leaves. And you just basically held your hand on me and wouldn't let me get up to yell at everybody at the end of the movie. But yeah, I had to complain about that movie. That movie drives me fucking nuts to this day. So, all right, now we're going to music. I give you shit because you love your hair bands, and to be honest, I like some hair bands. Mm-hmm.
I like the most hair bands.
If you look up hair band, no, because you're not a fan of like Pretty Boy Floyd. So, and enough's enough.
I don't dislike them.
Yeah, but and you're also not a big fan of Winger, and that's what a lot of people think.
Only because I hated
that creepy ass song.
Yes. She's only 17.
Daddy says she's too young, but she's old enough for me.
I hated that song.
To go to jail.
I really, really hated that song when I was 17.
Well, that's another one. I actually like the song Hungry.
No, I like I like almost all of the other stuff. I hated that particular song. I thought it was creepy. It creeped me out. I was like, this old dude, 20-somethings at the time, whatever. But this old dude is singing about hooking up with an underage girl. Like, that was wrong to me in my head, and I thought it was terrible. So I did not like that song.
Well, you get into...
I listened to Danger Danger. I listened to Firehouse.
Oh, yeah.
I listened to Warrant and Skid Row.
See,
which Warrant came in on the end of the...
Yeah. because they even tried to go the other way.
Yeah,
See,
that's my favorite hair band though.
You know, that's like I was a fan. You know, I became a fan of Motley Crue, and then like Guns N' Roses, Skid Row.
See, Motley Crue was a hair band. Guns N' Roses was a hair band. They were all
I don't
they were just
consider-
on the. I do. They were hair bands.
I don't consider Guns N' Roses. I consider them a rock band,
No, they were a hair band.
and because they look.
Yeah, Axl Rose and Welcome to the Jungle.
Oh yeah, dude, that's totally
that
bigger.
was
But then again, I like fucking Twisted Sister and Quiet Riot, and that was before it was considered hair metal. Because that was like that cusp, because it was like
no, it was just that transition.
yeah, because that first Motley Crue album, and realistically the second one, Motley Crue, Too Fast for Love, and then Shout at the Devil, they're kind of punkish songs, a lot of that, yeah. And then Theater of Pain, they became a hair band, and it's funny because I own like, I don't know, the first 5 or 6 Motley Crue CDs or albums, which I'm not gonna lie, I finally got my copy, the Pentagram cover of Shout at the Devil on vinyl. Not the one with the 4 pictures. No, the black Pentagram cover. Goddamn right. Well, it's like they tried to shoehorn shit like fucking like Dio and stuff like that in it, but Dio's never hair. Don't get me wrong, they did some poppy kind of stuff.
I mean, that's like, trying to say Aerosmith. Aerosmith is my favorite band. There was a point in time where they were very, very much hair band.
Oh yeah, fucking Permanent Vacation was a hair band.
Yeah, Permanent Vacation forward.
No,
was
Permanent
pretty...
Vacation and what was the one after that? Pump?
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, it just became pop rock. I don't even consider that hair. I guess pop.
No,
Like,
not all of
that's
it.
pop.
Not all of it. You listened to what was on the radio. I listened to all of it. I listened to the whole
because I've had
albums.
I had Permanent Vacation. I had Pump. I had Get a Grip. I had what's the one after that? I couldn't tell you the last one, but yeah. But
Nine Lives.
Yeah, Nine Lives was the last album I owned. I mean, I bought you other ones because I know I had Just Push Play and some of the other ones with the blues album.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, we're gonna go the other way. They're bands that I freaking hate. That you like the Beatles. I couldn't care if I ever listened to another Beatles song as long as I lived.
I grew up on it though.
Yeah, and
Janis Joplin.
Yeah, see, I'm not a fan of Janis Joplin. I'm not a fan of the Beatles. I couldn't care if I ever listened to a Grateful Dead song. And to be honest, outside of Shades of Grey, I couldn't tell you, or Touch of Grey, whatever the hell that song was, I couldn't tell you the first, Truckin'. Okay, there's 2 songs I can tell you. The Grateful Dead, I couldn't care less. And the other one?
I think the Grateful Dead, like a lot of stuff, just blends into...
Yeah. The other one that I despise, and I have never liked, I only got the one album because it was a gift. And people have had to go back to my friends from high school because they're like, everybody, no. Paul hated fucking Nirvana. I hated Nirvana. I still don't like Nirvana. Literally, there's one song that came out that I tolerated, and literally that was on their album that was released, like their greatest hits album, and I didn't mind their cover of the Meat Puppets, which people think that was the Nirvana. No, that's the Meat Puppets. Where do people go when they die? We're gonna, love the Meat Puppets.
Lake of Fire.
Yeah, Lake of Fire. Yeah, I love the Meat Puppets version. Nirvana.
Yeah.
And my other one is
well,
this
I
goes.
dislike their cover of Bowie too. I mean, and that's the one that everybody like. Oh, such a. I'm like, it's a Bowie song, and okay, they don't do a bad job. Don't get me wrong, but I don't like it.
Literally, they're one of the ones that if it comes, and it's bad because I don't have terrestrial radio. I have Sirius XM, so I don't really listen to that. But back when it would come on the radio, I couldn't hit the fucking button to the next channel or hit the CD button fast enough.
That's probably something you and I bonded on, was the dislike for Nirvana.
Yeah. And the thing, people goes, oh, well, you didn't like grunge. It's like, no, but I didn't mind Alice in Chains. I didn't mind Soundgarden. I didn't mind, I couldn't tell you any of the other grunge bands off the top of my head.
You
But
don't like Pearl Jam though.
no, I hate Pearl Jam. Never fucking. I take it back. There's like 2 songs that Pearl Jam did that I enjoy. Was it "Do the Revolution" and okay, maybe one song.
Yeah, there's very few Pearl Jam songs that I like.
And now, for me, the whole grunge era was just like, I was one of them kids that came off of I was the thrash, death metal, freaking just angry metal. And, you know, for me, grunge was, oh, I hate myself, oh, life sucks, and it's already, you know, and then, but the stuff I listened to was, yeah, everything fucking sucks, and you fucking destroy it on your way out, you know, instead of destroying yourself, which I always thought grunge pointed towards. You know, you got bands that's like, well, when you're going out, take everything with you. You know?
I listen to happier stuff.
Yeah, not me. Not me.
No, don't get me wrong. I listen to the angry, pissed off at the world stuff.
I did listen to happy shit, but you know, for the most part, I was the and people go, oh, well, it's you know, oh, it's, you know, grunge was supposed to be, you know, kind of political and stuff like that. I'm like, did you never listen to Megadeth? Did you never listen to Nuclear Assault? Did you never listen to Laws? You know, Sacred Reich and stuff like that. You know, these are all super political freaking metal songs, and you know, you're just whining about that your parents hate you and you hate your parents. Yeah, it's not political, man. And the other one is that now, a band I loved with a passion when I was a child is a band that I can still listen to a couple of their songs, so I don't hate it. But everything the band meant to me is shot to shit, and that's Kiss.
I feel like Gene ruined things for a lot of people.
Oh, Gene Simmons is a fucking vulture, and the fact is that I will believe that this is the last Kiss tour because now they're like, they got a reason to put it off. They're like, oh, we were going to end it in 2020, and now it's like, oh, COVID. So, well, we got to keep, you know, their last tour was like scheduled for like 5 years. They're going to die on stage. Paul Stanley can't sing anymore. Gene Simmons could never really sing, but, you know, they can't play hardly anymore. The only reason that they're able to play it to the level that they play now is because they got 2 younger guys playing in the band. And you're just like,
Your
really?
cat is meowing.
My cat or your cat? Yeah, it's my cat. My cat's...
Yeah.
You'll hear him maze off into the distance.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that for me, Kiss is fucking murdered. It's murdered music. It's music. They dragged them first few albums out into the street and shot them in the head. I'll listen to covers of Kiss albums, and I'm like, yeah, okay, that's what it should still sound like. And then you like hear it, and they're like, yeah, Kiss fucked it up, even though it's a remake. But for music, for me, it's literally like, you know, yes, I liked, you know, one of the ones I liked was Dangerous Toys. You never much cared for Dangerous Toys. You know, but like I said, when it comes to like, and one thing is that right now, pop music, and I know I'm old and whatever, and don't get me wrong, there was some pop music I liked a few years ago, and there's still pop music that I can tolerate now, but for the most part, it's like, no, can't do it. So, but I am going to take a break real quick. We'll be right back.
People who sleep on a Waterbed City waterbed sleep better than you do. We're so sure of that, we guarantee it in writing. You see, the mattress you sleep on now creates pressure points on your body, and that causes you to toss and turn. A Waterbed City waterbed contours and supports your body naturally. No pressure points, no tossing and turning. It's the most comfortable way to sleep. And when you sleep better, it's written all over your face.
They like to hide. They like to run. They like to play. But most of all, they like to eat.
Dad's all torn up and Mom's got like a harpoon thing in her neck and they're getting bigger.
Critters. They bite. Rated PG-13.
Starts Friday.
WKRP and MASH have moved. That's right. They've loaded up their trucks and driven to their new locations. It's the same laughs at new times. WKRP in Cincinnati at 7 and MASH at 7:30. Only on WCIX Channel 6.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
Only we have a military attack group like the Combaticons. Transform Combaticons and attack the new Autobot city.
More than meets the eye.
Autobots, this is our new city, Metroplex. It can transform into a battle station and then transform again into the gigantic Metroplex himself.
But the Combaticons can combine to form Bruticus.
Decepticons attack! Transform Metroplex!
The Transformers.
The Transformers from Hasbro.
Decepticons are attacking our launch site. Where's Prime? He's on Cybertron. It's up to you, Ultra Magnus. Autobots, transform and mount up.
When Ultra Magnus rolls into action, he takes on Decepticons like no one else.
Meet Ultra Magnus. As car carrier, he can transport 4 Autobots into battle. But once there, he transforms into my powerful Autobot commander.
Transformers.
The Transformers, each sold separately from Hasbro.
Thunder, 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 thunder.
Introducing the evil mutant warriors, Ratero, Vultureman, Groom the Destroyer, battle against Lion-O and the new Thundercat allies, Hachiman, Snowman, Tuska Warrior. The battle is on for the Sword of Omen.
Thunder, 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 thunder.
Figures and vehicles each sold separately from LJN.
All right, we are back. For those who didn't know, I had to take a bathroom break. Because sometimes when you're filming...
Those of you who don't know, that happens often with
Yes. When you drink probably a couple gallons of water a day and probably a couple gallons of iced tea a day, you tend to pee a lot.
Yep.
So, okay. I want to get on this because everybody who watches my show or listens to this show knows I have a massive love for 70s, 80s, 90s cartoons. And a lot of people go, I can't go back and rewatch them. They're just so bad. And I'm like, I go with them with the same outlook I had when I was a kid. I don't look for something that's not there. Mm-hmm. For me, it's just sitting back and enjoying an episode of He-Man or an episode of Thundercats.
Okay. That's like people, the reboots.
Yeah.
Like people that absolutely hate anything that's rebooted or made different or made new. And you can be one of those people sometimes.
Oh, I hated that Thundercats Roar. But the Thundercats that came before that was brilliant. Same way with the 2000s He-Man. Mm-hmm. Both of those were great. G.I. Joe has had hit and misses, but those last, G.I. Joe, Transformers, same way. But those, I don't know if they're the He-Man and Thundercats were reboots. The G.I. Joe was kind of reboots. The Transformers is like really a continuation if you want to get really down to it. But, I can sit down and I can literally watch Super Friends, and I just enjoy it. I turn off the adult me, and the 10-year-old me is there watching cartoons, and it's just I can go back, and it's funny because it's just a simpler time, and I think people need to be able to disconnect that. Mm-hmm. And that comes from me, a person who is uptight.
That's the point I was making with the reboot stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just take it for what it is instead of expecting it to be, or expecting to okay, if and there's a lot of stuff like on the reboot, like altogether, that people kind of resist, and if you come at it as you're supposed to have the same, like not knowing what you're getting into and then liking something when you're younger, like that's not going to happen the same way.
No.
In any of that. But, you know, and the same thing with watching stuff. You're not coming into it with the same, you know, like, oh, this is new and this is exciting and this is, you know, this. You're not coming at it that way because you're a different person at this point. But if you can just kind of let stuff go a little bit and just enjoy it for what it is, you might actually enjoy it.
I can sit down right now. I can walk over there. I can bring it up on the... No, actually, I can't bring it up. It's streaming because it's not streaming. I can put a DVD in and I can sit there and watch Scooby-Doo right now.
Yeah.
And I can enjoy it. And I'm not just talking about
watch like the old Scooby-Doo.
I was going to say, I'm not even talking about like Mystery Inc., which is just phenomenal. And yet again, great Scooby-Doo reboot, I guess. I can go back and watch where Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? And I can love that cartoon to this day.
Well,
no
I
problem.
liked Scoob, and that was one that I remember when we first seen the previews and stuff, we were like, I don't know about that.
Oh, yeah, it was,
like, that might just be too different or too weird or whatever, or it's not Scooby, and then watching it was like, oh, that's so sweet, and
I think the thing,
cute, and it captures it.
Oh, yeah.
I loved it.
And here's the funny part about it. Is it a Scooby-Doo movie? No.
No, I think it is.
Because it doesn't have the you know, you got him teaming up with... I don't think it's a Scooby-Doo... If you think it's going to be Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? No.
No, but all the Scooby-Doos are a little different.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the great thing about it.
Okay.
I loved a pup named Scooby-Doo.
Oh, I watched the show.
I freaking loved that cartoon.
The fact that Red Herring is a character, and I'm like, I was getting to be older by the time that came out, but I freaking loved Scooby-Doo. I loved it because when I used to sit with the boys, and we would sit down and watch What's New Scooby-Doo. No, don't get me wrong. Be Cool Scooby-Doo is god-awful.
Yeah, I actually haven't watched it.
I tried to watch several episodes, and I'm like, this is painful. Okay.
Well, I know people that hated Mr. Inc.
Oh yeah, Mr. Inc. If you hate Mr. Inc., you're wrong. I say everybody's entitled to their opinion. That one, everybody's entitled to their wrong opinion. Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc. is a love letter to the original series.
It really is.
And it's a love letter to the adults who still love Scooby-Doo. Because it looks at you guys and goes, there's your wink. We're going to make fun of stuff, but we're going to make it so that it's still
well
good.
Done.
Oh, it's still good.
Yeah, it's really well done.
The fact that they brought Velma from the Scooby-Doo movies in as a character who was friends with Velma, who was Hot Dog Water, can't remember her real name. The fact that that show has Jeffrey Combs as H.P. Hatecraft. It has Harlan Ellison as Harlan Ellison.
Yeah, that's great.
It has Lewis Black as Mr. E. Udo Kier. Udo Kier is not known for doing voiceover work on kids' cartoons as Professor Pericles. The guy I think he's Andy Warhol's Dracula. We used to have an ongoing joke about Udo Kier. I'd like to meet him, but I wouldn't let him in my house. I'm like, Vivica A. Fox is in it as a character. I mean, and all these people sit down and they love it. Like I said, it's a love letter to Scooby-Doo. Is it Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? No. Does it take everything that Scooby-Doo, Where Are You is, and then give a wink and a nod to the fact that that was hokey, and go, hey, adults, that we know you grew up on this, here you go, enjoy. And then you're just like, I if they made it season 3, I would watch it right now.
Oh, yeah.
And I had no problem. I'd be like, yes, please, thank you. And People gave shit to the Scooby-Doo movies when they came out. And it's to be honest, I wish they would release the James Gunn written version that they filmed. They filmed a rated R version of Scooby-Doo.
Really?
That will probably because it was supposed to be like satire, like a parody of Scooby-Doo.
Okay.
That's why little things slipped in, like the girlfriend Mary Jane, and the fact that he was supposed to be a pothead, and all that stuff. Those were all supposed to come out, and it kind of went. Warner Brothers was like, no.
Yeah, they had to make it like go hokey with it.
Yeah, we're gonna make it kid friendly, even though it's. And people hated that movie. I liked it. Me and Joe had to talk about it, and I was like, there are certain parts of that do not hold up well.
Yeah.
The special effects did not hold up great, and this, that, and the other. But I can still watch the Scooby-Doo movie. And the fact that the second one pokes fun at the original Scooby-Doo by putting all the monsters at the beginning. Yeah. And it's weird seeing a live-action version of, like, Miner 49er and the Sea Captain and like, that's fun. And me and Joe got on this discussion the other day. And people who, with remakes, for every Dawn of the Dead that we get that we love, we get the Day of the Dead that everybody hated. I liked the Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboot. I didn't much care for the sequel to it, the beginning. I liked the Friday the 13th reboot. Hated the Nightmare on Elm Street reboot.
Yeah.
I actually liked the Rob Zombie's Halloween reboot.
Yeah.
I appreciated his second movie. It wasn't what I wanted, and I'm not a fan of it, but I appreciate what he went, because he was like, okay, I'm going to make it my own.
Yeah.
And it
I
was...
think a lot of people had, going back to Nightmare on Elm Street, people had a problem with that because it was, like, too serious. It was too...
Yeah, there was no... Well, the original Nightmare on Elm Street was really dark and serious. But by the time we got that reboot, he was played for comedy.
Yeah.
And so people were
it was dark and serious, but they didn't, like, put everything out there. And some things are okay left unsaid.
The fact that he was a child murderer, and then suddenly he's a pedophile.
Yeah, like, that was unnecessary.
It was kind of implied.
Yeah, but it was unnecessary to put it out there like they did.
Yeah. Okay, Hills Have Eyes. I think the Hills Have Eyes reboot is great. The Hills Have Eyes reboot of the second one, not so much.
That's probably just a movie I'm just not a fan of, but...
Yeah. But, but then again, I liked the original Hills Have Eyes, and I thought the second one was, then you get stuff that people go, okay, well, that's a reboot, and it's not. Like The Thing. I don't mind The Thing, the new one, which is the prequel. Was it a necessary movie? No. They didn't need to make it. It was an unnecessary movie. Do I think it's god-awful horrible? No.
We're talking about cartoons, though.
Yeah, we're talking about cartoons. But we'll get back to... But, reboots and all that stuff like that, notwithstanding. Okay, I remember when they had, in the 80s, when they went and made everything The Kids. Muppet Babies, Flintstone Kids, Tom and Jerry Kids, Yogi Bear, all that shit like that. People hated that era. I liked Flintstone Kids. I liked Muppet Babies. Matter of fact, I got really excited one day because
that's kind of where, like, Pup Named Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, the Pup Named Scooby-Doo, yeah.
Into it.
I got really excited one day because I'm flipping through the channels and I didn't know they made a new version of Muppet Babies. And I'm flipping, and I was like, ooh, Muppet Babies! And I went to turn it on, and I was like, it was a reboot of the Muppet Babies, which I don't like. It's CGI. It doesn't have the heart that the original one had. And
Did you watch the Animaniacs yet?
No, I've not watched the reboot of Animaniacs yet. I need to sit down. Actually, to be honest, I forgot it was on there.
Yeah. I watched the first...
There are people
and it's really good, and I think you'll like it.
Well, that's like the people who hated Tiny Toon Adventures.
Which is
because
wrong.
they're like, oh, they're just. I'm like, Tiny Toon Adventures is great because you got elevator go up, elevator go down.
Elevator go up, not your turn to push the button, my turn to push the button. Not your elevator, my elevator.
You know what? Did not know that was a real thing until you had until we had a child with autism, and then no, not your elevator. I push the buttons. I push the buttons.
Not your turn to push the button. My turn to push the button.
Little did I know, Plucky Duck has autism. With autism. Yeah. Did not know that until I became an adult and watched that now, and I'm like, wow, that kid has autism.
Totally.
Yeah, but there are people who hated that when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
And now they look back at it now and they're like, oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah, we got crap when we would start doing that, like out in public, because we would do it at freaking lights. No, not your turn to push the button. My turn to push the button, and in elevators and wherever.
I want to go down the hole.
I want to flush again. This is why we're married.
Yep.
20-something years later.
For those who don't know, we met in the far-flung year of 1993. In 2 years, we'll have been together for 30 years. That is most.
Shut up.
That is probably older. Weird. That is older than most of you who are probably listening to this. No. 30 years is a long fucking time.
Yeah, it is.
Three years, I'll be 50. And you know what?
We're not going to talk about that.
I have no intention to stop watching cartoons.
No.
I have no intention of stop watching horror movies. I have no intention to stop reading comics. I have no desire to stop doing any of that stuff.
Good.
Because I don't care. I will be bald and have a beard down to here, but I will still be watching cartoons.
Ooh, we can cut your hair on a podcast.
Cut my hair off. No, because I gotta wrestle and I gotta have a hair versus name match with the Nature Boy Paul Elite.
Oh God! Because
I will still be saying that until the day I die. Until the day I actually have that match with him. I had somebody post a picture of him. I'm like, fuck that guy. He's like, why? It was because I'm the real Paul Elite. Fuck that guy.
Is his name Paulie?
I don't know for real. You probably Google it and look it up. But yeah, the Nature Boy Paulie. That irritates the crap out of me because people send me links to
I know. It makes you so mad.
And it wouldn't be bad if he was decent. Yeah. Why can't I be Steve Austin? or I don't know. Hell, I'd take Husky Harris. Because at least that's the Fiend. That's Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, you can't even have somebody that's cool.
No. So, yeah, for those... Yeah, because it probably will come up on WrestlePedia. Yeah, Pro Wrestling. Yeah. But, yeah, he's sitting there, like, in the background of the picture, and I'm like, oh, my God, I fucking hate that guy. I don't know. The guy could be the nicest guy in the world, but... I literally, I mean, I know he's supposed to be a wrestling heel, and I get the fact that he's supposed to be a wrestling heel, and people are supposed to hate him, but the fact that he has my name just makes it worse.
The real fake Nature Boy.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that. Ric Flair's, like, okay with it.
Yeah, supposedly Ric Flair gave him the okay, which...
Oh God, he looks like an old bloated.
Oh yeah, he's all kinds of. He's never been anybody. He's never been big. He's just, I don't know. And by the way, I do have a love-hate relationship with wrestling. I've loved and hated wrestling. I've loved wrestling my entire life almost, and right now it's irritating the shit out of me, and I want to hate it.
Well, you don't watch wrestling, but you listen to all the podcasts.
Yeah, No. I listen to Busted Open every morning. I sometimes listen to 83 Weeks. I sometimes listen to Jim Cornette. And I watch Botchamania every time a new one drops because it's Botchamania.
You only only.
No, and the only wrestling I watch, wrestling is Shine, or Stardom, the Japanese women wrestling, because they kick the ever loving crap out of each other. So, yeah, that's hilarious.
Okay, there's a Paul Lee, born in 1974, is a British artist based in New York.
Yep. And I want to say our birthdays are really, really, really close. There's a comic book artist. There's a... Yeah.
I don't know. My name, my maiden name, there was a Tina Spicer that was on the list of people that died in the trade towers on 9/11 that actually didn't because they didn't go to work that day. Well, that's what I find when I Google.
Well, that's like, okay, there's the people that live in Tip City. Mm-hmm. And the dad's Paul and the son's Mark instead of, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We might actually be related to them. I'm not 100% on that.
Probably.
But for those who don't know, my dad's name's Mark. Hi, Dad. If you actually ever listen to this. He's liked them. I don't know if he's ever listened to one of my podcasts before. But
let's see. Paul Lee basketball. Canadian entrepreneur.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Speedway rider. Television executive.
Yeah, that's the. I've actually gotten emails for him, and I've gotten emails for the
Korean Canadian actor.
Yeah, that's the guy from Kim's Convenience.
Oh,
yeah,
okay, that's funny.
That's Appa. Yeah.
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 And then a British lawyer and businessman.
Yeah.
English professional footballer, Canadian international soccer player.
There's an Asian comic book artist named Paul Lee. We've been invited to conventions, and I've also gotten emails because they've offered to give me basically so I could get up and do talks. And I'm like, you got the wrong Paul Lee. Did you even look at? Because I've gotten them through Facebook and I've gotten emails. Mm-hmm. I'm like, how did you find me with my email? One, because my email is technically the shop's email. Mm-hmm. And because I don't actually use I still got one, but I haven't checked it. And
your AOL,
yeah,
old school email.
Yeah, I've gotten for Paul Lee. I've gotten convention tables like offered to me for free and stuff like that because people look it up and they see me that I'm connected with all this comic book stuff, and they assume that's the one. I'm like, no, I've met the Paul Lee, the artist. I think there's a picture of us together somewhere. Back when you actually had to take a photo with a camera and you couldn't put it on your phone. And then the TV executive, I got an email. That's before I moved to the current location with the shop, and they're asking me if I wanted to do a talk, and I'm like, I'm thinking a small business talk or something like that. And it's like, as a executive with a TV, I'm like, I think that dude works for NBC. I'm like, you're looking for the wrong guy. I'll come and talk, but
not about what you want me to talk about.
Not about what you want me to talk about. So, oh my god. Well, we get off topic here.
Yep.
Candy. Last thing we want to talk about. Candy.
Okay, yeah, I seen a post that was like best and worst candy or whatever, like Easter candy or holiday candy or whatever. Because there's tons of candy that you hate.
Oh,
that
I fucking hate
I'm just
candy.
Like, Halloween candy corn.
Candy corn is gross.
He hates it.
Candy corn.
Black jelly beans.
Black jelly beans. Peeps.
I hate Peeps.
Black licorice. I say that, but then I got black licorice. Somebody goes, here, try this. And it wasn't black licorice. It was grape licorice. Mm-hmm. It was just really dark, and it was delicious. Mm-hmm. But to be honest, I don't eat candy that much. But I'm not a fan of. I can't eat peppermint patties. I can't.
Yeah, but you like the peanut butter stuff. You like Reese's.
I like Reese's.
Like
I like Butterfingers. And that's really about it with the candy bar type stuff. Love my cherry sours and my Swedish fish. Mm-hmm. and Starburst.
And I like all the seasonal stuff.
Oh, you love
the
your
Cadbury.
Oh, those things are
eggs and-
vile.
I can only eat like one a year, though. Okay.
Yeah, that's because they give you diabetes for the next 12 months. You eat the one, and then you got to get the diabetes out of you for the next year, and then you eat another one, and then you have diabetes for another year.
Oh, so that's why I got to go on metformin.
Yeah, that's right.
occasionally.
Although I'm not gonna lie, I got one of them. What I thought was a Reese cup egg that happened to have. I'm like, oh, it's a Reese egg, and then you shake it, and it's got Reese Pieces in it. And I'm like, oh, so it's like it's coated like a Reese cup type egg that has like.
No.
And then you break it open, and it's just chocolate with Reese Pieces in it, and I'm like, that's bullshit. That shouldn't be a Reese cup thing. That should just be Reese Pieces in a chocolate egg. But they're gross. Kit Kats. I don't mind Kit Kats. It's not that I dislike them or nothing like that, but because the green tea ones are delicious, and so are the strawberry ones.
I've never gotten to have either of those.
Yeah, I gotta find them.
I've had the minty Cat Cats.
The minty cats. Yeah, see, I don't like those. The dark chocolate ones, I don't like those. I'm not a fan of the white chocolate ones.
Both of them are fantastic.
What's the other ones that they had?
The mocha, which
Yo,
Brandon just got
no.
me earlier.
No, fucking, I hate anything coffee flavored. That's gross.
Because you're wrong.
Yeah, coffee's gross. I don't know how people
Because
drink that
you're
shit.
wrong. See, but I did my DNA, and that's one of the things with my DNA is that bitter flavored stuff.
So that's why you like me.
Yeah.
You're bitter as fuck, so it's like.
But I think it's
you like
neat.
bitter things.
But I think it's neat that like the traits because of go, but the only one that it is wrong on is the alcohol flushing.
Oh, you turn red.
I turn red when I drink. But the fact that I'm Irish explains it, and that's even explains that. Like, I don't have.
See, I'm afraid to look that stuff up on the DNA because they'd be like, "Yeah, you're related to these people." And I'm like,
It didn't. There's only one person that showed up that I don't know who they are as a cousin, and I can't figure it out.
See, mine wouldn't be that. It wouldn't be the fact that I know I've got cousins and stuff that I whatever. But it would be like suddenly you find out you're related to people that you can't stand. You're like, oh, that would suck.
I haven't had that happen.
No. I'm good with what I got now.
Yeah.
See,
I just think
this is where we're gonna get things we like and don't like. She's all about finding out about her family history and all that stuff like that. And me, I'm like, yeah. I'm good with what I got now.
I think it's interesting, and I think one day our kids or grandkids, if we ever have grandkids or great grandkids, it might be interesting to them.
I think our genetic line ends with my kids right now. I don't think something about Joe. I don't think Joe. He's like, nah.
No, Joe's a lot like you. He's gonna find somebody, and it's gonna be over.
Yeah, it's gonna be the ones where Joe's like, I don't see. Life's about compromise. When I met Tina, I didn't want to get married. I didn't want to have kids. I didn't really want to settle down, so we compromised. I settled down, we got married, and we had 4 kids. So it's all about compromise.
That makes me sound like a terrible person.
No, it's not. and I've said this to my kids, and I said this because in all honesty.
When we got married, I was not about getting married.
Yeah.
You were the one that was like, no, we're getting married, damn it. We're getting married Friday.
No, and this is in all honesty. I always say my kids are the greatest thing I never knew I always wanted. I couldn't imagine the world without them. I couldn't imagine my world without you. It's funny how life takes you and ends up where you're at.
Neither one of us were looking to be in a
No,
relationship
no.
when we met.
I just came out of a horrible really. I had a stalker before her.
Mm-hmm.
And
I kind of did too, but
yeah, and you know, I was like, yeah, and it that whole thing ended horribly. You just walked into my life, boom.
And the current mayor of our town is the reason we got
Yeah.
together.
And it's
so that's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's you know, life is funny, and you know, you and I, we do these. You pop up on a podcast here and there, and we have shit in common, but we have a lot of not stuff in common.
Mm-hmm.
And
because we are our own individual person,
and I think
we are not the two-headed Tina Paul monster.
Because people have asked me, like, you know, would you ever date, you know, somebody in our, you know, through the comic book things, through conventions, stuff like that, you know, any of the. I was like, no. I was like, if anything happened between me and Tina, I would. One is I'd take a long fucking break. And there's no way, because I am hard to get along with.
I might go play for the other team. If
I am super hard to get along with, and if I met somebody like me who was doing the same thing I would do, that would not end well. That would be a train wreck. There's no way I'd date somebody like me.
Date somebody like me.
Yeah. So, but no, we the two of us, with our dislikes and our likes, and what we agree upon, what we disagree upon, and you know, it works together. You know, I have friends who love some of the movies that I dog on, and I dog on them to their face, and I give them shit, and I don't care. Still love them to death. Literally, my best friend in the world is Mark. I give him shit nearly every day. And when I found out he didn't like Resident Alien, I was like, well, that's just because you're a humorless black hole of negativity, man. But nobody else better say that, because it's Mark and it's my buddy. It's and this is what the whole point of this whole thing is that just because I like it, and just because you like it, don't, you know...
We can talk about stuff and like different things without putting each other down for it. You know, that's one of the biggest, you know, if you want to talk about anything going on in the world, if you want to talk about current events, if you want to talk about politics, if you want to talk about whatever, that's probably one of the biggest problems is everybody's like, I have to be right and everybody else is wrong. You know, if you can just say, okay, I like this, you don't like it, but that's okay. You like this, but I don't like it, but that's okay. Like,
yeah.
You know.
I'm going to give a shout out to Jason. We give each other crap all the time as he likes Big Bang Theory. I hate Big Bang Theory. I think it's a garbage. But
I agree on that.
You know, he loves it. He liked the Joker and he liked freaking Hereditary. We give each other crap. He sends me DVDs all the time when he gets Blu-rays and stuff, and then I give them on to other people. If I ended up with it, I'm like, okay, so I could talk to my friends. I'm like, we got this, and we just keep spreading the love. And he jokes around. He goes, oh, I was going to send you the Joker and Big Bang Theory. I was like, I don't know. Worst part about Joker would have ended up in my collection. But Big Bang Theory would have been kicked on down the road to, like, Bill or something. You know, I would have, but we can poke fun at each other, and we can give each other crap about liking what we like and disliking and whatnot. And
but you can still respect
I
each
can
other.
respect it. Dude, I have nothing but respect for Jason. I have nothing but respect for Mark. I have nothing but respect for Maddie. I have nothing but respect for Ed, Bill. And we don't always agree on the same things. You know, Mick, Dale, all, you know, a lot of us are a lot different, but then we're a lot the same. And when you look at things, it's like, I don't see why, you know, just, okay, I hate this. Well, you like it? Well, fuck you for liking that, you know?
Yeah.
I'll joke around, go, you have the wrong opinion or whatever, but everybody's entitled to their opinion. But yet again, I go with the whole thing that one of my idols said, which is Harlan Ellison. He goes, not everybody's entitled to their opinion, everybody's entitled to their informed opinion.
That's a good one.
And there's people who hate fucking Harlan Ellison. And I get it. That dude was abrasive as shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually got to sit down.
He pokes fun at himself.
Oh yeah,
for
he
it,
did.
though.
Yeah, he did. He did. And I got to like actually sit down with him. We had dinner with him in Atlanta, and it was weird because it was me and Mark and Harlan Ellison and a couple other people. And Harlan was just telling us stories and stories and stories. And he was an angry, grumpy old man, but it was because he was passionate about what he liked.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say you were wrong for like his famous episode of Star Trek that he wrote, City on the Edge of Forever. He hates it, what they ended up with. But if you love that episode, he never give you shit for it. Mm-hmm. Okay. He goes, but I really wish you would have got to see my version of it. I got to talk.
Well, I can understand that.
Yeah.
He had a vision that he wanted to express, and it got shut out.
I talked to Joe Lynch one time. I sent him an email because I was like, finding out that you dislike Knights of Badassdom was as disappointing as it was when I found out that Don Coscarelli disliked Beastmaster. I love both of those movies. And, he's like, he goes, it's not that, he goes, I got it taken away from me, stuff like that. And he goes, I appreciate the fact that you still like this, that I had part in something that you enjoy. Mm-hmm. And he goes, the same thing happened with me with Don Coscarelli and Beastmaster. He goes, I was all happy. I got to talk to Don Coscarelli. I got to talk to him about Beastmaster. And then he told me that story. And he's like, oh, I went through that with Knights of Badassdom. And I was like, that's fucking disappointing, It's like... But, just if you like something, like it. If other people don't like it, they don't like it.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
We can still be friends.
Yep.
We can still be married.
We can still be married.
And I really like the Joker movie.
Yeah, she and I do not.
But we're okay with that.
We are totally okay with that. But if she starts like Hereditary, she can get the fuck out. No.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
No, I think that's what keeps the world interesting. We all have different opinions.
It does. And I think,
because you talked about being with somebody that was just like you, and that would be I know
fucking miserable.
That would be weird. One of my best guy friends, that's one of our things, is we have the same personality. We have different thoughts, but the same personality. And, it's like people would, oh, you guys, dated or whatever. No, no, not at all.
That's funny.
Too much alike.
I'm sitting here on a stack of shit that I was going to show people with stuff that I liked that other people didn't like. By the way, okay, hold on a second.
Such as?
The Saga of Crystar, the Crystal Warrior from Marvel Comics. I love the toys and the comic books. It was such a cool idea. I mean, it had the little crystal guys. They were made of clear plastic and shit, and had little clear plastic weapons and stuff like that.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Crystar.
Which is most
I know
stuff like this that you talk about.
The freaking continuity comic stuff that Neil Adams did, like Megalith and Armor and Silver Streak and the Revengers and shit like that. Love those.
No idea.
The Marvel New Universe stuff, when they tried to reboot the New Universe at the 25th anniversary of Marvel.
Oh, I remember you talking about this at some point and showing it to me before.
Yeah.
That's all I know about it.
It was, people hated this, and I loved it. I've gone back and reread his stuff, and I'm like, this was good stuff. I don't understand why people hated it. But yet again, this is coming back, and people are enjoying it. They actually made a Star brand continuity. It's in that universe, and that universe is dead. Well, I don't know if it's dead, but it's the Star brand is in the sixth one.
That's been flying around for an hour.
Yeah. So
we're doing this all.
Those who don't know, our lair which we film here is the basement of our house, which is, I know people go, oh, it's a basement. Yeah, it's technically a basement, but it's a finished basement. Mm-hmm. The only problem is that we have a laundry room next door, and there's a drain in the floor. So every once in a while, I get enough bleach down the drain, because if not, we have gnats.
and we have one flying around my
Yeah.
head.
And so we're swatting at it all fucking
Yeah.
night. So, yeah, it's not that it's irritating, but all right. Well, long story short, like I said, if you like something, like it. If you don't like something, you don't have to like it
You don't
because
have to
somebody
like
else.
it, but don't give other people crap for it either.
Dude, believe me, I was a comic book nerd my entire life.
Comic book snob.
Yeah. And a D&D nerd. And as far back as, comic books as far back as I can remember, D&D and stuff like that from about 6th grade on. I loved these things when it was not cool. When you would literally get your shit pulled out of your hand, get beat up for liking. I was never beat up for liking comics, but I know people who were. I know people who got their comic books ripped up because people were trying to act cool, and
I got crap for liking stuff that I like.
I had a guy.
I was a girl that liked freaking Batman
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So
I remember a guy in
Teenage Mutant
high
Ninja
school
Turtles.
who threatened to. Literally, dude was like a foot and a half taller than me because I was short in high school. Not that I'm fucking tall now, but dude was 6 foot something in high school. At time I might have been 5'5". He's threatening to beat the shit out of me and tear up my books, and what the fuck was I going to do about it? And you know what? I was half his freaking size, but I was going to go down swinging, and now it's the other way. And there's part of me who's like, oh, god damn it, you guys didn't have to fucking go through what I had to go through. And I get bitter. And I'm not going to lie, I fucking get bitter.
A little bit.
And, people bitching about, oh, the Suicide Squad movie sucked, or the Justice League movie sucked. I'm like, screw you. We had the fucking rubber-eared Captain America, Howard the Duck. We didn't get cool at comic book movies when I was a kid. Damn, seriously. And then that's another thing. It's like I enjoy, as much as sometimes I don't like comic book movies, I will enjoy it because, I went from a time we didn't get that. we live in a golden age of being a nerd or being a geek. Okay. And but just like I said, have fun and enjoy. We're going to go ahead. I'm going to take a break. I'll come back and do my comic book reviews. And Tina's going to head out, come back at the end, and say goodbye.
All right, sure.
Okay. So, all right, we're going to put another break in here because this is going to be a long episode. We got a lot of catching up to do for missing out on a couple weeks. So, all right. So, we're going to take another break, and we'll be right back.
I got a watchable. What'd you call? A watchable. Why'd you call it a watchable? Because there's a watch inside, that's why.
Watchables are soft little animal friends with a real watch inside. Open the mouth and tell the time.
Butterfly, mouse, elephant, bear, peacock, and toucan too. They're soft to love and fun to wear. A real watch just for you. Time to get a watchable. What'd you call it? A watchable. Why'd you call it a watchable? Because there's a watch inside, that's why.
Watchable animal watches. Each sold separately from Hasbro Softies.
Look, the Stunticons! Look, the aerial bots! Only the Stunticons! Only the aerial bots have this kind of teamwork. Stunticons attack!
Aerial bots wage their battle to destroy the evil forces of the Stunticons, the Transformers, more than meets the eye. The Transformers.
Nobody can stop Minotaur. That's Superior.
The Transformers, sold separately from Hasbro.
Find out how to. We are back. This is going to be a couple older ones, but I have to go into these because I really just like them too much. 2 weeks ago, the Black Knight: Curse of the Ebony Blade came out. I'm a fan of Dark Knight. I thought he was a very cool looking character from back when I was a kid. I loved his run with the Avengers. They kind of made him a joke as time went on. But this book right here makes him the badass that he could have been and should be. I love Black Knight, and this is just... It gives the Black Knight potential that he never really had before. I'm a big fan. I can't wait for the next issue. This is the Captain America 80th anniversary tribute. It is the first. It is Avengers 4 and Captain America 1, Captain America Comics #1, and Avengers 4. The original stories, but with the art completely done by different artists on each page. So, you have, oh my God, trying to look at this. John Cassidy, Salvador LaRocca, Peach Momoko, Perry Perez, all these people coming in to do, a single panel on a classic storyline. It's a really cool concept. They did the same thing with Giant Size X-Men. It's fun. You need to check that one out. Here's my top pick from last week. Ultra Mega. Like a really dark parody, I guess, homage to Ultraman. The artwork is great. I'd almost say this is for fans of Ultraman, Godzilla, a little bit of like Invincible, just bizarre stuff. It's so good, so much fun. Ultra Mega. This is a thicker book, so it is a little more expensive. I can't remember. It's fucking $8, but it's literally 64 pages, I believe. So check that one out. And my last old review is Justice League 59 from the Final Frontier. Boom, both covers there. The dawn of the new lineup, which is really good. I mean, Black Adam is now a member. Naomi is now a member. And it's also backup story with Justice League Dark. I'm digging this so far. I wasn't reading Justice League going into this storyline, but I am now. So if that tells you anything. So that is the last of the old ones. And here's my reviews for this week. Aliens, now from Marvel. Salvador LaRocca is doing artwork on it. It's a little odd right now, so we're going to see where it goes. I don't want to give too much away. It's 4-issue miniseries, so not a whole lot happens in issue 1, but it looks like it's going to be really cool. Here we go. This is the variant cover to Carnage, Red, White, and Blood. 3 story anthology book. I really dig the second story, which is the Old West story. I freaking love it. It's the Carnage symbiote, basically here, there, and everywhere. It's also the Gleason variant cover. Then we got Post Americana. This is a brutal look at, it's a political comic and satire. It's the future, and the uber rich basically dug themselves into a mountain while the world collapsed around them, and then they come out and want to conquer the United States again. That is fun, brutal fun. And this one is oh my God, this is probably my top pick. This is one I think is going to be stupid huge. Stray Dogs #2. This book is hot, from Image. I heard it's like somebody. I say it's Seven meets Secret Life of Pets, but I'm like, it's what would happen if David Fincher probably directed Pets, which is about the same. It's about a group of dogs, and they're starting to realize that their a new adopted owner is got some really dark secrets. And each one of them has a homage cover to a horror movie. First issue was Silence of the Lambs. The current issue is Pet Sematary. So there you go. You have got to read this book. It is phenomenal. And the art is very all dogs go to heaven-ish, if that's a word. And it is very cartoony. It's very Disney. So, in the artwork, but the story is not. So, but those are my picks for last week and this week. Also, we were having a discussion the other day, so that's we're talking about this. I got the Resurrectionist. We were having a discussion whether a centaur has 2 sets of lungs. So, and how many stomachs and all that stuff like that. This does not give all that, but it does have the muscle structure and everything for mythological creatures. So if you ever look up, see, there you go. The inside of a centaur. So you have to look this one up, but this will be your, that's my book that you need to go back and try to find. The Resurrectionist. Boom. There you are. So, I am getting ready to say goodnight and wrap this up. We might be editing in some footage from the toy show we went to Saturday at the end, if anybody wants to watch that, or I might just pop that in on the YouTube version and do the... So, if you want to watch the YouTube version and see bits and pieces of the Great Ohio Toy and Comic Show, we will put that on there. So, as for now, I want to see if Tina wants to come back over here and say goodnight. And she's making her way across here. As I've done almost a 2-hour episode tonight. So,
I had to finish eating my beef jerky.
Finish eating the beef jerky, I take a drink and check my phone. Alright, so, as always, follow us on
everything.
Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Group Therapy TV. If you have any questions or anything you want to talk about, topics, you can email us at grouptherapytv1@gmail.com. But you
or
can
just Facebook us.
Or just Facebook us. You can find Group Therapy on Facebook, or you can find me on Facebook, or my shop on Facebook, and then you can contact me through there. You can watch us on YouTube, or you can listen to us on, I think we're pretty much everywhere but like 2. So there's a pretty good chance wherever you listen to podcasts, we are there. So, and if you would like to help us out, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We have a Patreon account, or you can just do like some people do and just walk in the store and hand me money, which I like that because then they won't
complain.
They won't complain, and then Patreon takes fees out. So for every $5 we get 4. So they take 20% of pretty much everything. So when everything you do helps us buy new equipment and whatnot, so
hey, you can see us this week because we bought a new camera. So.
Yeah. Well, the worst part about it, the other camera still works, but for some reason now does not link to the computer.
Yep.
So, all right. So, as always, we're going to say goodnight. And I'm Paul.
And I'm Tina.
And we're not licensed therapists.
Not at all.
Nope. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Or good day, whoever you listen to this at.